In this short video, I want to tell you a little bit about the glossary assignment. I want to tell you why we're doing this assignment and give you some of the specific logistic information you need to know about completing the assignment. So first of all, what is a glossary? Well, a glossary is literally just a list of definitions for vocabulary terms. And as you know, learning vocabulary is going to be one of the most important things we do because that relates directly to our learning objectives for the course. I want you to be able to apply the vocabulary, and particularly when we get to things like your film analysis assignment and your creative project, you need to know the vocabulary really well in order to be able to apply it later. So the glossary assignment is going to help us remember and understand vocabulary. Another quirky thing about this class is that because our book is an open educational resource, which means it's free, there's not a glossary, which you would normally find in a textbook like this. So we're going to make our own. And that will mean that we're going to work together on a project that's going to help all of us learn and retain information better. What we know about how students learn is that students need to connect to the content, and students need to connect to the instructor, and lastly, students need to connect to their classmates. I hope that you will easily be able to connect with the content because I've set everything up for you on the tartan. I hope you'll be able to connect with me. I look forward to talking with you. Please reach out to me by email and let's set up a time to meet, either have a phone conversation or a video conference. The trickiest part about an online course, of course, is getting students to connect with each other because we're not in the classroom together. So this assignment is one way for you all to work together, even though we are in an asynchronous learning environment. So I hope you'll be able to have some kinds of conversations with each other, even though we're online and not in class. The logistics are that we're going to use Google Sheets. So you should always use your Maryville College sign-in credentials to enter Google. And that will ensure that you have access to the documents for this class. And I will put all of the vocabulary terms for each chapter into the Google Sheet to get us started. The reason for that is that it's going to save time for you, but also it's going to let you know what I think are the most important terms. Now, you're welcome to add a term there. If you're reading and you have a question about something, it's probably likely that other people have a question about that vocabulary term as well. So if I haven't listed something that you think is important, go ahead and add it in there. Now, what are you required to do? Everyone should contribute equally to each glossary. So we're going to cover 10 chapters. That means 10 times you will go into the glossary that we share and contribute depending on how many terms are listed. So you'll need to say, well, how many of us are there and about how many terms are there so that we're dividing them up equally. You will add a definition, but you should also look online for examples. You take the definition straight out of the textbook, that's fine. You don't need to cite the textbook. You don't even need to quote it. We will just know that you took it right out of the textbook. But if you go to an online source, please do cite that just so that the rest of us can find it later. Another logistical quirk, it would be great if you would add your initials after anything you contribute, just so that it'll be a little easier for me to give you credit for your work each week. You can also use that last column to add questions or notes, anything that you think might clarify a topic for other students or yourself, or if you are not sure what someone's example means or how someone's definition is working, you can also just ask questions of each other. Remember, this is a chance for us to interact with each other even though we're asynchronous. In some ways, this kind of takes the place of those discussion boards you might have done in other classes. So rather than doing the discussion board, we're going to create this glossary together, but I hope that it will provide some interaction in the class. A couple of reminders. If you are the kind of person who jumps on this stuff really early in the week, or if you're the kind of person who talks a lot in class and is really comfortable with that, you might need to hang back a little bit. You might need to give others a few extra days to get in there and do their contributions. On the other hand, if you're someone who's typically quiet, reticent to speak up in class, or reticent to speak up in the online environment, you're going to have to push yourself to get in there early and make your contributions. What I don't want you to do is get to the place where the glossary is full and you think, oh, well, there's just nothing for me to add. There's always something to add. Add another example, add a different type of definition that helps you understand better, or add questions for each other. But definitely contribute to every glossary and think about making sure that your contributions will help your classmates as well as yourself. Naturally, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Remember that for this assignment and all the others, there's also a handout. You can find that under assignments. So read the handout carefully, watch the video again if you need to. But if you still have questions, please feel free to let me know. Shoot me an email. Thanks so much.